Good morning. Welcome to Hack Shack Studios. RT Bear here. Almost 40-year veteran of this comic book industry. Working mostly as an inker, but I have done a considerable amount of penciling as well for the big two, Marvel, DC. Also did a little stint, maybe a decade at Image Comics. So I've been around. So look me up. You'll see a bunch of craziness. So hope everyone's doing well. As always, you guys give me a sign of life in the chat. It does help. Then I know I pushed all the right buttons and pulled all the right levers and all that other good stuff. So like I said, I hope everyone's doing good. Yeah, I just wanted to, I got up a little early, did my chores, did a little bit of work. So I scanned my page in. I got my art corrections to do on the page. It's on my drawing board right now. And like, everything's kind of set up. It was all lined up. And I was like, you know what? I should do a live stream. And then when I'm finished here, I can take a quick lunch and then I can get back to my work. So I kind of have a schedule going here, but I wanted to be social. I worked in the social thing and to hang out with you guys. Oh man, we got a sign of life, and boy do we. We got Past Master Dan. God bless you, young man. Thank you so much, and right back at you, brother. I do appreciate the thought. And we got Death Metal Hero. What is up, man? Hope you're doing well. We got Samuel Bono. Hey, Art, what's up? Hey, what's up, brother? We got Mayfield Jukes. Ahoy. Okay, we got some questions early on. Let's go with these questions. Oh, you know what, you guys? If you're new to Morning Hullaballoo, this is just kind of a free form. I do have some stuff I want to show you. I'm going to show off some black and white artwork, and this is stuff that I don't think anybody's really ever seen before. And so there's a lot of behind the scenes work in progress stuff. But also, you guys were very interactive, so I really love hanging out with the chat and seeing what you guys are up to and everything like that. So if you want to ask me anything or comment, feel free to do so. So that is always welcome, and it's a lot of fun, actually. Why does the left side of your face look swollen? This left or this left? I don't know. I don't know. That is, I didn't know it looks swollen. I'll have to look into that. I hope it's not like a allergic reaction or something. Let's see. Leg kick. I see a leg kick. Mayfield Jukes. We got Oliver from 656 Comics. What is up? Yo, we got Richie Doop, Hell Art, Hell, and Bananas to All. My wife just picked up some bananas from HEB, and I'm going through a bananas kick right now. So we got the rockinest guy in CG, Stephen Rockwood. I'm gonna rock with you. Hail RT Bear. Hey, Roland. Get those doggies rolling, rawhide. Boy, I gave Aaron Lepresti the information about wanting to pick up that Wonder Woman cover. We did. It was a great Professionals we did the other night on my channel, and if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And we were showing off unpublished artwork. It was a lot of fun. I am so close to 1,000 views. So if you guys haven't seen it, please go check it out sometime today and see if we can get that to 1,000 views. It would really help my self-esteem. Sometimes we're just not sure if, we're building an audience or not. So I know all the guys, the Professionals really are trying hard to do that, to build an audience and to entertain you guys. So, Roland, I did give that information to Aaron Lepresti. He has it, but he wanted a contact. I don't have a contact for you. So I didn't know what to tell him. So you might want to try to message him through through, I guess, Twitter or Facebook and see if you can get a hold of him. It sounded like he's interested in selling it. So it's just a matter of getting you two together. So I did pass that along to Aaron. That's all I could do. That's all I could do. Let's see. Everything just jumped. Oh no, I see dog attack. No. Doop. Can we rename the dog Damien? My wife and I call him Poochifer. But you know what? He's really a good dog. He really is. And just to be like completely fair, maybe to tell the complete story, is most people are commenting because I had a big scratch across my nose and I didn't know it was there. And then I think we did a King show on Ethan Van Sciver's channel, and it was just freshly scratched. And it looked a lot worse than it was. It was really superficial. It wasn't that deep. But what also is I had it's kind of a skin tag over here, and I forget what the dermatologist called it. It's something like a blood tag or something like that. It's filled with, it's not just skin and whatever. It's like a blood sac or something like that. It's really weird. And so I think what you guys were seeing was a combination of that, and then because it was long, so it was across my nose right here, and so I just want to clear the air. I don't want you guys thinking that Arrow is a bad dog. He's a good dog. He's a puppy. He still has puppy urges. He likes to jump, and he nips a little bit, but he doesn't really clamp down. Like, he's gotten to the point where he can't help it, but he'll just kind of put his teeth on you, but he won't clamp down. When he was little, he did, but he doesn't do that anymore. So he is learning. He's getting better, and we found out that he might be part German Shepherd as well, because we were told he was a border collie, but I think he's mixed with German Shepherd. So all these, they're kind of high maintenance dogs. They're very, very intelligent. So they kind of need input all the time. I guess they're herding animals. So they need input all the time. So he's a little needy, as you guys could tell by the chat. Sometimes he'll come in here, hang out with me. But he's a good dog. So yeah, we call him Damien. Sometimes we call him Poochifer, but he really is a good dog. So I guess it was on this side. I got that removed, so it's healing up now. I don't know what you guys are talking about with the swollen face, but it's not. No. No. Art, I want Aaron Presti's Wonder Woman cover showcase last night. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. So, like I said, I forwarded just your name because that's all I really have. I guess I could check my Twitter and see if I got. Whoa! Your left jaw is swollen. My left or your left? I don't know. Doesn't look swollen. You guys are messing with my head. Yeah. Art's face looks swollen. It's a trick of the light on one side of his face. Thank you. I don't know how to fix this. I don't want you guys thinking my face is all disproportionate. I was thinking that. You guys are like getting into my head here. You guys are psyching me out. I'll go back to being quiet now. Let's see what Leg Kick says. RT Bear Rob Liefeld asked a question about why do comic book readers get so worked up these days? He says, why don't we just stick to the decades we enjoy? I am curious about your view. I've heard people kind of saying that, if you like old comic books, then just kind of stay with your old comic books. These new comic books aren't for you. Let me think a minute. Why don't we just stick to the decades we enjoy? Well, because we probably read most of those books and we want new stories. So I don't think that's quite a good solution. Like just read the comic books from the 90s or the 80s or 60s or 70s or whatever. I mean, most of us have read all those books, or at least all the books we really wanted to read. Another is like, well, some of those books are harder to find. It's not like there's a newsstand of, filled with 60s monthlies or whatever. Also, they can be quite expensive based on rarity and how hard they are to find. So I don't think that's a solution. I think people that read comic books, they want to read new stories. So I don't know if Rob said that's the solution, is to stay in your own lane and pick a decade and then just buy those books. Well, there's no new books coming out. So I don't know if I agree with that. He says, why don't we just stick to the decades we enjoy? I am just curious. Yeah, I don't think that's an answer. I think if there's a decade you like, I think you probably read all those books. I guess you could reread the books. But I think most people want new stories, new adventures, that type of stuff. New artists, new writers' takes, things like that. So I think it's easy to just go, well, to just say, well, the new comic books just aren't for you. I think they should be for everybody. Like, what do you mean they're not for you? Most of us have been reading for decades or since we were little kids. Like, what do you mean they're not for us? We're comic book fans. Like, they're not for you. Like, that's bullshit. I'm going to go as far as to say, fuck you. These books should be for everybody. You shouldn't make agenda books. You shouldn't make books that are specifically for certain people. Well, you can. Let me clarify. You can, but I think what we're talking about is like more mass consumed books, like Marvel Universe stuff or DC Universe stuff that used to kind of be more all ages. So there've always been niche books. So if you want like more adult books, there used to be Vertigo. I would say if you want adult books, bring back a Vertigo line or Epic line that Marvel had. Epic was awesome. Those were great lines of books. A lot of cool characters and things came out of those lines. Bring back Heavy Metal. More adult content made for a certain clientele. You can still do that if you want to push the envelope sexually, or you make more agenda-driven comic books. Well, maybe do them there. Don't aim them at little kids. Aim them towards who they should be aimed at. You know what I mean? Don't try to take these comic books that used to mean something. They used to stand for something. They used to have a fan base. And so if you just say, well, this isn't made for you, well, then what is made for me then? What do I have? I have nothing. That's not cool. I've never seen a business that would do that. Like, we don't want you as a client anymore. We want these guys. Well, why do you have to make a decision like that? It's a stupid decision to make. One of the reasons, there's the ESG money that could be coming in because it's agenda driven. So if Marvel and DC wants to get some investors in, or different investors and stuff like that, they can start doing these agenda, green stories, about the environment, which, by the way, comic books have always, those subjects have come up in the past, so that's not even new. Homosexuality is not even a new topic for comic books. So if you want to kind of make your line more of these things so you can get that money, well, you're playing a major gamble, because I think you're going after short-term game, which is this ESG money, which is a fad. Like, there's investment fads, let's face it. So I believe this is a fad. I don't think it has any real substance to it. So, when that's gone, you've already pissed off all your loyal fans. So are they going to come back if you try to, correct the ship, or are they gone? Will you never get them back? Comicsgate, what we're doing, Black and White, what Ethan Van Sciver, Aaron Lepresti, Graham Nolan, Andy Smith, Billy Tucci, just everybody, John Malin, Shane Davis. I'm missing a ton of people, but we're just trying to give you something more of what resembles what you loved, as a kid, and then grew up as an adult liking. I don't really have any vested interest in doing policy comics or agenda comics or anything like that. I just want to tell fun action adventure stories, things that I liked as a kid. And I still like, and I believe most of you guys are the same way. So I'm sorry, I don't think there's a really like a quick way to answer that, Late Kick. So I know that it feels like a tangent at this point, but I think it's good to talk about this stuff every once in a while. So I think maybe the simple solution is I just think that Marvel and DC should probably create books outside of their main bread and butter line. That, like, there's certain expectations with the Spider-Man story or a Batman story or a Superman story, so I think they should still meet those expectations and kind of leave those things alone. I think every once in a while you can tell a story about certain things and then come back to the main bread and butter of what these IPs represent. But other than that, I think be brave. Create a line of LGBT comic books. If you think there's a market, if you think there's a market, then you be brave and you put some real money and some real time and energy into creating a line of books that is specifically for that group of people, right? Whatever you think they want to see, whatever you think they want to read, then create that there. But most people have a problem with you turning Superman gay or changing the a male to female or whatever these things that they're doing. I think, maybe as just a throwaway idea for a single issue, you could go, well, Thor's a woman now, and that was a fun, 22-page story for that month. Now let's move on to something else. But they're not that. They're like, well, he's now a woman, or whatever it is, and then they double down on that. And then the one thing that for me, the things that everybody likes what they like, right? You can't really argue with that. But the problem is what's happening now is if you don't like what they say you should like, then you're a bad guy. You're a bad person, right? Well, just because I don't want to read an LGBT comic book, that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It just means I have a preference that I like this other thing. Do I think that it should exist? Of course. If you can create a market for it, if you can find an audience, more power to you. If you can entertain people, more power to you. I always thought, like life is tough, life is hard, but if you can pick up a comic book, a 22-page comic book, or in my case, a 68-page comic book, Black and White, and you can be kind of pulled out of your day-to-day routine, right? Say you were having a bad day and you pick up a comic book, say Black and White, Man versus Machine, and you get sucked into the story, you get sucked into the adventure, and it's got a good moral. So at the end, that evil gets triumph, or that good triumphs over evil, and that that it feels good. You know what I mean? Like it's a good wish fulfillment story. And then for that 20 minutes or half hour or however long it takes you to get through a comic book, excuse me, oh my gosh, excuse me, that was a double burp. And then we've done our job. Then it's worth it, right? So if you can read a black and white book and get that out of it, enjoyment out of it, then that's why it exists. You know what I mean? Like, it's not rocket science. If you can create an LGBTQ comic or whatever you want to do, and somebody can get entertainment, out of that, and they can have fun for 20 minutes, half hour, or whatever, and have some enjoyment. Why shouldn't it exist? You know what I mean? As long as no one's getting hurt, and as long as, you're not. See, the problem is they don't stay in their lane. They want to sell these things to children, have, transgendered people read stories about transgender adventures to children in public libraries or schools or whatever. Like, that then becomes crossing the line. That is kind of pushing a belief on somebody. It's a sexuality. It's a sexual preference. These things should always be kind of behind closed doors. Like, I don't think anybody wants to hear anything about anybody's sex life, gay, straight, or individual, so I'm sorry. I just read this. No, you guys, stop. Maybe it's my beard. I don't know. Maybe I'm gaining weight. Am I gaining weight? Maybe I'm gaining weight. The chipmunk. But yeah. So I don't know if I agree with Rob's assessment. Stick with your own decade or books that you like. I think people want to read new adventures, and those books aren't being made anymore. So there's that. So let's keep moving on. That was a great question, though, by the way. Thank you for that. And I hope everybody got some entertainment out of that. I always say on this channel, tangents are the best part of life. There's what you set out to do, and then there's what ends up happening. Oh my gosh, you got him in a headlock. Did I ever tell Art about the time I tamed my first pit bull by putting him? You broke him just like a stallion. Time for training classes. We've studied all the stuff, and we've contacted trainers. And to be honest, I think Pamela and I understand kind of the guidelines and everything. And unless we were going to have a trainer here that could work with the dog, at the house here, I don't really, I think we can do a better job than a trainer. And he is, I mean, it's just consistency. It's like having a child, although because of his breed, he's a little bit more high maintenance, but he's getting a lot better. What, Jeff? Swollen face. Art's hitting the Botox hard now. No. Your left cheek is swollen. Is it your left or my left? You guys keep saying the light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Actually, my wife woke up. I'm not laughing at your wife waking up with a swollen face. Her right jaw was swollen, kind of like yours, Art. She either has an infection or the mumps. True story. Oh shit. I don't think I have those things. I might just be gaining some weight. My back has been messed up, so I haven't been able to walk the dog or do my usual activities. Oh my gosh, you guys aren't letting it go. Okay, let's see. So maybe we can follow up just a little bit what we were talking about. Exactly, we don't want to see our beloved characters ruined. I just read Super Sons not long ago that you worked on, and it was fun. And now they ruined John Kent. Yeah, that was hard. It was happening when I was there. Yeah, and the thing about Super Sons that I really enjoyed was that people were going out of their way and contacting me, and I haven't had that, work as a professional in a long, long time, where somebody likes the book so much that they actually go out of their way and they contact you. And people were doing that with Super Sons. They were saying, it's one of the few comic books I can read with my children. I read Super Sons to my young kids before bed. Thank you so much for being part of that team. Stuff like that. And I haven't had that in a long, long time. So since Black and White, Black and White now, but prior, not so much. Let me see. It's crazy to me that Professional doesn't have more viewers. I bet it's due to the conservative throttling on Twitter and YouTube. A conservative-friendly social media might bear more fruit. Possibly. We're still kind of building it. I think we're our first year into it. And I have started advertising this show and the Professionals and stuff more on my Facebook and other social media, because usually, like, Facebook doesn't respond. Like once I went Comicsgate, Facebook doesn't really respond to anything I do creatively anymore. So YouTube, stuff like that. But if it's kind of like the Professionals, and we just had Hacks Chat. It was so good. It was a great show. We had a Disney animator. His name is George Scribner, I believe, and just an amazing talent. He directed Oliver and Company. And so I felt like that was more of a general audience, I guess, so I advertised that was, up on Facebook. So it is really weird. I think Graham Nolan has success on Facebook. I'm not sure if people know that he's Comicsgate, or if he's just one of those exceptions to the rule, that people didn't come after him in the same way that people who have gone after others. Exactly. People always want new stories and new adventures. Why would they want? Why wouldn't they want? Why would we not want new material? Exactly. Not putting Rob down. I just wonder if he knows the state of the characters and the industry. I believe he does. I just. We all have different viewpoints, and sometimes, our viewpoints are more, they can be self-serving. So I don't know if he's kind of like going, go back and get some Youngblood material, or some, old Extreme books, or, some of the old Marvel stuff I've done. I'm not sure, we all have kind of vested interests and things that we're kind of pushing. But saying that out loud, I don't think that's the case. I think, Rob sincerely was just like, well, then read what you like, But I think that's a little overly simplified, if indeed that's what he did say. Because I believe, like what Luke said, people want to read new material. I would love to meet Liefeld and tell him, no, he's a good guy. He's okay. I think, like for me, after I met Kevin Smith, I realized that there's a type of person that's in entertainment, and they kind of they don't put the emphasis on the work as much. Like I always tried to be about the work. Like I never wanted to be like a spokesperson. Like, oh, look at me, I draw this. I've kind of come around, like with what I'm doing now, trying to be more of a public figure and trying to like, hey, I'm an artist and this is what I do, kind of thing. But I always thought, like, I let the work do the talking, so I'll just kind of try my best every month, and just to try to top myself and compete with myself, in that way. And then, but then you realize there's other people, and they kind of borderline on kind of chaos or trouble. So they say things or they do certain things that get a reaction, right? You see musicians like this, you see actors like this, you see even comic book artists, you see people like this, and they kind of like to go around and they like to push the buttons. They figure out where the buttons are and then they like to push them, and then they get the feedback, you know what I mean? And I've just never been wired like that. So I don't really like to cause controversy. It doesn't take a lot of imagination to really piss somebody off, especially like I said, when you know where the buttons are, when you know where the goat is hidden, you can pretty much piss people off relatively easy. But I always thought like it takes a lot of energy, because then there's the backlash you have to deal with. And so then the backlash becomes where all the energy is. And I always wanted to put the energy back into my art, into storytelling. So I never really went that direction, because I knew I would have to, if I said something kind of nutty, then I'd have to defend my position and so on and so forth. And I just never wanted to really manage my career that way, probably because I have no real vested interest in the controversy. I have more of an interest in creating the product, So like when I met Rob really loves this industry. He loves comic books sincerely, but he also kind of likes to push the buttons. Sometimes sometimes he'll bring up some good points. Sometimes it'll be wacky and nutty. And then when I met Kevin Smith, I was just like, why? Like, it was really kind of tough to work with him. And I was like, why, if we're all on the same page and we want to create a good comic book, why is he starting shit? Like, he would start shit with me. And I'll get in. I've talked about it a little bit in the past, but I can get into that in the future. But I think just to keep this show somewhat focused, I'm not going to go there. But I think there's some people that, when I was younger, my parents would just go, "You're just a troublemaker." Like, there's some people that are just kind of troublemakers, and that's kind of who they are. So I think that Rob is a bit of like that. And so I think there are people that sincerely like his storytelling and his artwork, and there's people that don't. And there are people that like his point of view, and there's people that don't like his point of view. So, it's all, different strokes for different folks kind of thing. So I would never suck a man's balls or have another man suck my balls. Not that, hey, if that's what you're into, then go for it. But yeah, I mean, there's strong reaction. There's strong reaction to certain people, certain types of people, and it's all good. If you don't like somebody, that's okay. Yeah, it sincerely is okay. I think as a society we have to get over that too. Not everybody's going to like you. Michael says, "Yep, that's wrong for clamoring for what you want. Maybe somebody will pay attention and provide it." I think that's kind of, that's what Comicsgate is trying to do. Heavy metal, yeah. I guarantee you there's a lot of talent out there that have a voice that would love a platform like heavy metal to tell stories. But everything's kind of really heavily micromanaged, and I don't think that they're really looking for the right voices. I think they want to control the voices. And for a book like heavy metal, I just don't. You got to just put shit out there, man. Just the crazier and the more out there, the better. You know what I mean? But done by very talented people. Both Epic and Vertigo helped catapult Sam Keith's career. Yeah. There's time and place for things. I just don't think trying to make your mainstay Marvel DC universe Epic or Vertigo, or when they started going like, these are Elseworlds tales. Oh, well, now they're part of canon for the DC or Marvel universe. No, just leave them alone. Like the thing that I thought was weird, like the Killing Joke. So the Killing Joke, what comes out of that is that Barbara Gordon's crippled now. Like she was shot by the Joker. Well, that was the Elseworlds tale. Like, why would you then go, well, this is canon? If you want to tell that story, then tell that story in your canon. Like, if you think that's a good idea, then in the pages of Batman or Detective or whatever, have a similar story like that, and then tell that story within those confines of that continuity, and then leave that alone. So then you can do something like the Killing Joke, but maybe not as edgy, or maybe with more of a, you know, a younger person's sensibilities. Comic books have always dealt with tougher subject matter, but it was kind of written in a way that was more, it could be consumed more in a general way versus very specific. And so, comics have dealt with homosexuality. They've dealt with alcohol, drug abuse. They've dealt with stuff like that, but not in the same way. So I think, like, I wasn't real like, oh, well, we're going to make the Watchmen part of the DC universe, other than a major publicity stunt. For what purpose? The tones are completely different. The reason the Watchmen was because it wasn't the DC universe. It was its own thing. It was aimed at a more mature and adult audience. The reason they didn't tell that story in the DC universe characters is because it wasn't really appropriate. You know what I mean? The original Watchmen was written with the Charlton characters in mind. So then DC rightly said, those are our universe characters. I don't think we should use those. Why don't you make up your own characters, and then it'll be its own thing. And I think that was a smarter way to go, versus try to create that sensibility using those Charlton characters in the DC universe. I just don't think it works. I've said this a million times before. Well, it might have been a million. These are kid properties. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. These are for young kids. When we created the books in the past, we understood that they weren't really for adults. We didn't exclude adults. We didn't say adults can't read these or they're not for you. Anybody could read them, but they had a certain audience in mind. And so, as you grew up, if you still liked that, then you never grew out of that, or you still liked it, but you started reading H.G. Wells or, some of the sci-fi, Edgar Rice Burroughs or stuff like that. You kind of went from comics to those things, and then kind of kept going. That's the way it was always supposed to be. And when you go, we're going to create adult comics using Batman or Superman, adults aren't going to read those books. Like, you're selling to adults that read comics as a kid and that still love the stories and the industry, that kind of grew up with it. But I've never really sat with somebody and they went, you know what, the comics when I was a kid were dumb and stupid. I wish they would be more mature. I've never had a conversation like that with anybody in the 40 years that I've been doing this. So I don't know why somebody signed off on that. I think that it was just easier to tell yourself that kids aren't reading the books. We're just going to market to adults. Like, that's an easy marketing, right? Because it would be harder to get a new audience, right? It's easier to placate an audience that's already there. And that's what the industry has done. It's just coasted for years and not really tried to cultivate a new audience, a new fan base. And who's going to be attracted fresh out of the gun, right? Not that they read it since they were kids, but just they see the book on the rack. Who's going to be attracted by that? Not really an adult, a kid. A kid's going to go, oh, Batman, that sounds interesting. Spider-Man. Like, these are not adult concepts. These are not, they never were, they were always kind of with a child sensibility. Those are the people that would respond and think somebody like Spider-Man is cool. You know what I mean? And I hope I'm not making it sound like adults shouldn't read comic books or shouldn't get enjoyment out of it. I'm not. I'm just saying that they were kind of designed for a certain age range. And so I don't think that the solution is to change that and just start trying to placate an adult audience. Like, just make a mandate. Well, these are adult books now. Adult comics can exist. Like we said, Elseworlds tells, DC's done it, Marvel's done it, but you don't have to do that with the child. The more general, child is the wrong word, more of a general kind of comic book, which is your Marvel DC universe. I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to get themselves in the same problems because, let's face it, it's not just adults, kids want this stuff. People want the G versus E storylines. They just want, it brings them comfort. It brings a kid comfort, right? When they see this evil going on, right? It's like, well, who's going to stop this? Oh, Captain America is. You know what I mean? And then at the end of that 22-page adventure, they have a resolve, and it makes them feel good. It makes them feel like good will prevail. Good is something worthy of pursuit, because look at what the result is. I know that's fantasy, but fantasy can kind of help guide your sensibilities to right and wrong, or at least have a healthy idea of what that is. I don't know if people do anymore. Let's see what Luke says. But Art, they did all this first. It had never been done before. Yeah. They pat themselves on the back for it. And it's complete bullshit. Because also you're spitting on the talent that existed prior. Like, if you're going to say, like, oh, we're going to build off of what these other creatives have done in the past, then that's fine. But to try to make yourself seem like you're pushing the envelope or that you're doing something unique and completely different, you're really not. So you should kind of get over yourself. Hey, Pedro, what's up, man? What is up? Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Joe. Joe Ball, for the $10 super chat. Death is slaughtering Indiegogo. Hell yeah. I assume this is Joe's book. I'll check that out after. Well, you know what? I don't know how to find this. If there's anybody that has a wrench, put a link to Death in the chat. That would help. Current numbers are, 46,580 backers. You're not kidding, man. That thing is slaughtering. So yeah, you guys go check out Death. And if there's somebody that has a wrench, if you could put that link in, that would be great. I would appreciate that. Thanks for the answer and your thoughts on it. Oh, no problem. No, it was fun. I think those things need to be said. My uncle had a sex change operation in the flippant 80s. He died. Oh, shit. Decades later, saying it was stupid waste of time. These kids are all, we're so stunning and brave. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's horrible. Yeah, the problem with a lot of this transitioning and stuff that the progressives are kind of leaving out of the scenario is that this is kind of the be all end all. You transition, and then the world's going to be your oyster, and it really isn't. Sometimes it gets worse for a lot of people. So yeah, I think there needs to be some truth out there, and if it works for you, then that's fine. But I think they're kind of making it seem just kind of like it's a fad, like, well, you feel like you're not a boy, well, then become a girl, or you feel you're a boy, and vice versa, then that's what you should do, kind of on a whim. And then they also say that the uh, the the inhibitors, the hormone blockers, and all that stuff are reversible. Not always. Not always. So there's a lot of untruth that's going out there, and I just don't. The thing that bugs me about all this is why? Who cares? If it's somebody's personal journey and they feel like this is something they need to do, then why should society go, yay, you're brave, you're great? It's like, hey, I had sex with a girl, woohoo, you're a great straight dude, or a girl's like, yeah, I just had sex with this dude, like, why should people think this is great? Why should people give you points for it? It's weird. It is really weird. Like, I think that there are extreme cases. There are some people that transition, and it was the right choice for them. But I don't think society should promote it. I think at best society should just tolerate it, but not necessarily applaud it or give you points for doing it. I think that's really strange. It's just like these comic books. Like, I saw this cover with DC did where Superman's a gay rights parade. He's flying, and there's all these banners and stuff. And somehow, like, this is a brave thing to do, to be the. Why celebrate it? It is a sexual thing. It's just weird. Like, you wouldn't do it for a straight guy or a straight woman. Why would you do it here? Like, most people are very uncomfortable with that stuff, and they have to realize that. It doesn't mean that they're transphobic or they're homophobic or they're whatever. It just means that most people aren't real comfortable with it and don't want to know about it. There's plenty of things that are like that in the world that people just don't want to know about. They know, but they just don't really want to put it in the forefront, and they don't want it to be, the main topic of everything that comes up. Oh my gosh, that's a good joke. Art T Bear. That's my butt hanging out in that image right there. That will haunt me till the day I die. Create something new. Yes. In a very, very straightforward, just that's better than anything I said, Richie. Put your money where your mouth is. You want LGBTQ characters? Create those. They could even exist within the Marvel DC universe. They've done it before. They've existed side by side, or just create your entire universe that's like that. It seems like that's what you're trying to do with the DC universe anyway. So just do that. You can still get your investors in, your Green Party investors in. Just create a whole line like that. Have your investors finance it. You know what I mean? Like, just put your money where your mouth is. But they're not going to grab the headlines, really. They're going to grab more headlines if it's a mainstay character. Yeah, everything I say sounds gay. Oh, thank you, Past Master Dan. I appreciate it. Man versus machine. We got a fan of Neon. Oh my gosh, that thing is doing so good. Yeah, go check out Kenneth Rackefort's Groken 2. I think this morning when I checked it, it was almost 78. So that's a 24-hour period, 78,000. So Johnny says it's almost at 80K now. But all these ideologues, they are demanding tokenized characters, didn't actually read the books. Yeah, it's just Oh, cool, man. We got a Tropical Magics link here. Thanks, Pastmaster. You are doing the Lord's work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if they can do what they're doing, then why not? Let's say that George Michaels isn't gay. What if George Michaels was straight? Oh no, 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 no. That reminds me, I was in the market yesterday. There was a Hershey candy display featuring new diversity versions of DC heroes, gay Superman, and minority Wonder Woman. Is this true? That's horrible. The thing is, like, what the? This is so backwards. Sell the comic books. Get the comic books in these stores. Like, they'll use them to sell candy, so there's a marketability to them, but they won't sell the comic books. That has been one of those enigmas since I got into this industry. Nobody really is out selling the books themselves. I'm selling Black and White, Volume 2, Man versus Machine. Just thought Liefeld brought up an interesting question. Of course. I'm going to try to move forward because I always get accused. Yes! Hells yes! Yeah. North Star is one of those characters. There was even, what was that character, Jericho, in the Teen Titans? Jericho might have even predated North Star. Yeah, it's just weird. All right. Well, I'm going to start showing off some artwork. Get this party crazy. This is good. Thanks, Anne. Progressives sanitize LGBTQ issues so dishonestly, which even pisses off the group they claim to care about. I hope so. I hope so. It's a pretty extreme solution to a problem that might not exist. That's why I don't think that necessarily, like, as parents, like, if your kid says these things to you, I don't think that you should take it at face value and just go, oh yeah, you're transgender, let's go get some hormone blockers in you. I think what really should happen, parentally speaking, is say, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, but let's wait until you get a little older. Let's wait till you get a little bit more experience. Let's at least wait till you get through puberty. Maybe even your late teens, early 20s, and then if you still really feel this, then you've had time to think about it. You've had time to experience other things. How do you know that you're gay if you've never even had a straight relationship or even tried that? How do you know you're LGBTQ if you don't even really know what puberty is? Like, all of these things. I just think the decision should be kind of put in the back burner. I don't think as a parent you should just shoot it down and just say, no, you're not, and just dismiss it. But I do think that you should kind of try to slow it down, because I bet you the majority of the time it's just the kid that's a little confused, and most kids are at that age, and then just let it go, until they get older. And if they want to revisit it, or they feel still strongly about it, then you've seen it over time. You've been able to monitor your children, your kids, and you've been able to go, well, yeah, they're kind of not this, so then when the decision's made, or when they want to pursue it again, there's some honesty, there's some truth behind it. yeah, I think that's, for me personally, that's the best way to handle it. Always believe your kids. Well, just a couple of years earlier there, they were saying they wanted to be a dinosaur and and devour their predators or whatever, they wanted to be a superhero. Like, you can't put too much stock in it, because there's too many variables. There are way too many variables. Let's read Luke. There are psychological aspects that seem to never be considered when they opt for these radical body changes. Yeah, and then you hear the oversimplification that it's reversible. It's not that reversible. Yeah. Comics Legend says, but they could say, how do you know you are not gay if you haven't tried? Well, but give it time. There's always time to try. You know what I mean? Like, you could be in your 40s and then try and see if you're gay. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to do it when you're 12. You don't have to do it when you're 13 or 14. Let puberty happen. Let get some life experiences, before you act on it. That's it. Especially like if it's medical, if it's like a body transformation. Like, gay seems fairly no harm, no foul, right? So you think you're gay, you sleep with the same sex, and then you're just like, well, it's not for me, right? But it's kind of no harm, no foul. It's not like you're saying, I went through, months and months of this painful. That's another thing, like these hormone, like injections and stuff. Some of them are painful. Like, and then they said, like, women that get testosterone, they have like kind of uncontrollable rage. They have like anger issues. So there's like a lot of side effects to these things. It's not as simple as they make it out to be. That is irreversible indeed. Or genital reassignment surgery. Yet those things are irreversible. Some of the hormone blockers or whatever will sterilize these kids too. So, if they do it, they will never, or maybe, or there's a good chance they'll never have kids. So, yeah, you become kind of a slave to the drug. All right, you guys. Oh my gosh, that I'm glad I came in, because a lot of good conversation. Let me do something real quick, and then I'm going to do some showing off of artwork. So this is the reason for the season. So this is the alternative to Marvel DC. This is the answer to all your questions. Hopefully you will find some major entertainment value with Black and White Volume 2, Man versus Machine. This is the epic conclusion to the origin saga. So if you guys are new to this, the link is in the description. This is Volume 2. They're back better than ever. This is Reed Blackett, a.k.a. Black, and Whitney Sung, a.k.a. White. And this is kind of their kind of a relationship journey, a man-woman relationship that could have blossomed, but an evil from Whitney's past comes to haunt her, come back to haunt her. And so she's kind of hell-bent. Her idea of justice is just decimating this human being, taking him out of existence. And Reed Blackett, being an ex-spy, understands how sometimes these are not the solutions. And in this case, there's a lot of things. There's nightmares. There's things that he has done for God and country, in the name of being a spy, that later when he found the truth, was not quite what he thought it was. So then he started realizing that maybe there's not a lot of honor in being a spy, that maybe there's a better way to help people than being a spy, or even a cop, or a a soldier, which he was a soldier as well. So at this point, he's kind of like, he's not sure he wants to do any of those things anymore. So he's kind of trying to be he wants to just be a businessman. He's just going to be a civilian. And so that's when he meets Whitney, that her and her uncle have this fledgling family business, and he's an importer, exporter, and wants to help them. And so that's when the evil from her past comes back. So he wants to help her take this guy down, but not in a fatal way, not in a way that is going to haunt her or put her in jail, or, you know what I mean? That's going to be a permanent scar, something that's a little bit more positive. And so he believes that he can steer her in the right direction. But what you will find is that there is going to be none of that. She wants none of that. And so that's the challenge. They both have different ways of looking at justice. And, are these two going to be able to forge a team? Are they going to be able to find some kind of point where they can agree, and that they can move past that? And so that's what volume 2 is going to be about. Like, are they going to be able to be a team? Are they going to be able to work together? And so that's kind of in a nutshell. I mean, there's a lot more going on, but just as far as the emotional stuff and how the story starts. So this is a 68-page story written by Joe Fulton and myself. We have Stefani Renee now. I can make that announcement, doing the color work. Absolutely fantastic. I've seen a couple of pages, and they look great, you guys. Check the updates. I'm not sure if any of the color works in the updates, but there might be. But there are a lot of interior pages and different things that you can see in the updates. So speaking of Kenneth Rocafort, that is doing the Groken 2 campaign, that is cleaning up. He was nice enough to do a black and white volume 2 cover. So this is a variant cover drawn by the great Kenneth Rocafort, and it came out fantastic. And so we also have another variant. We have the incredible Joe Bennett. Speaking of cancellations, he was canceled by Marvel. They took his livelihood away from him. He was working on the Hulk, and just on the whim of an SJW, got uppity, and they got Joe fired. So I believe this is his first work after being canceled from Marvel, and had a good heart-to-heart with him. He's a good guy, and he just said, "Hey, can I do a cover for you?" And this is what came out of it. So it's absolutely fantastic. I did finishes over his pencils, and the great Kyle Ritter did some color work, some brilliant color work. So that is a variant as well. We have the High Octane Adventure. This book is going to be amazing, you guys. It's just about finished. And if you haven't heard about this, it's a 22-page. It was originally just going to be like a saddle stitch floppy, but we've managed to upgrade it, so it's going to be it's going to have a heavier stock cover, and maybe some other things. I'm talking to the printer right now, and so we got the great Von Klaus from Black Terror fame, Monster MD fame. He's writing, and we got Pedro Ang, Comicscape's own Pedro Ang. He came right out of the chat, and just hit a home run here. So the book looks fantastic. We have a second chance at volume 1. So this has a new cover on it. So if you want to see how the story started, you can get this copy. You can get both, actually. And that will give you a complete story. We have the Greg Capullo variant. We have just a limited amount of the one on the right, and you can only get that in the black and white jam tier. We have some layouts. This is the only place you can get original artwork for black and white right now. And we have this as a tier, and we also have it as add-ons. And so then you guys come click the link, check out all the stretch goals. We have some fantastic freebies here. So if you back the book, you're going to get all these cool upgrades to the book and all these cool freebies, Inko stickers, patches, all kinds of cool stuff, pins. So that is the Black and White campaign, you guys. So absolutely fantastic labor of love. I work on it every day, getting closer and closer to the destination, which is finishing the book. And yeah, oh shoot, thank you so much. Another super chat, $10, a pork hunt. I always wondered why only one issue of the ongoing was released by Image, as I was pumped after the miniseries, then gutted when two never came out. Oh, you know what? I got some cool stuff to show. I'm gonna do some show and tell here, and then I can use this as a way to get into it. Thanks again, Pork Hunt, for the super chat. Much appreciated. And these both say issue 3. These are both not issue 3 covers, but there was work done for issue 2 and 3. So there's a complete issue that's finished. That's issue 2. And I think 3 is mostly done. The pencils are done. Some of the inks. So this is Jaime Mendoza on ink work. So he was going to be the regular inker on Black and White, so I could focus on getting the book done quicker. So that is a cover that was done. And then this was a fun cover. This was Pamela's idea. So they're in Rio. They're kind of vacationing, taking a break from being Black and White. And so then, of course, Bad follows these two. And so while she's going to have a caption like something like, Reed said meet him out here, by the pool, and he's going to get some, drinks and whatever. And then as she's saying that, she doesn't realize that Reed is kind of keeping her safe from this assassin who is going to shoot her. So yeah, I mean, that was the plan. And then pretty much the market just kind of eroded. So sales were going down, and Pamela and I, we made a decision. We just had Amanda. Amanda was just born, our little daughter. And so it was kind of like, I need to make a steady income. The industry was a little, it was a little in turmoil. I thought that going back to Marvel would be more stable and a way to provide for my family. And it indeed did. And the market kept kind of going down at that point. So I realized years later that the idea never went away. Like those stories were still there. My love for the characters was still there. I don't know if I need this light. Let me see. And so I kept going with the stories. So I would do my day job stuff at Marvel and DC. And then at night, I would still tell my Black and White stories. And so there's not two completely other versions. There's so much, man. The idea never died, but it was 30 years to the point where when it came out in 94 to this point right now. Not 30 years, like 25, 26 years. And so, I kept trying to develop it, do different things with it over the years that, my sensibilities changed, the industry changed, things like that. So I was going through the T-Bear Vault. So this was a page. I don't know. It's not really coming through very well. Let me turn this light off again. But this is another attempt. That is a different look for Brooks Gray. So I was playing with because this was I was still kind of animating. I was still working kind of in animation when I was doing this, so I was bringing more of a like a cartoony kind of sensibility to things, kind of playing with the shapes and things a little bit. So that's that. Let me go back to my solo layout. All right, and so let me try to figure out. Oh, you know what? I'll just do this. I'll just share these. So when I was going through the archive and I found those two covers and that page, I found a bunch of development stuff that I had done over that 25 years. So just different ideas, different takes on the characters. So I thought this would be fun to show this stuff off. So this is like black and white ideas that could have happened, possibly. So I was playing with like helmet designs here, the tattoo kind of idea. Also like trying to bring this into a more future story. I shortened her hair here, so she's got a little ponytail here. So that's white. That's Whitney's song. There was going to be some other characters. Man, she's got the scary eyes, like they're a little too wide. This was an MI10 agent, I believe. I think her name was Penny. Oh my gosh, it was like a kind of like a Bond character name. Oh my gosh, what was her last name? I forget what it was, but yeah. So this was a character that I was playing with that I was going to bring into the story. This was like me going off on a complete crazy tangent, where this would be Whitney Sung, aka White, and so she had more of like a sparring kind of helmet thing, and so her hair was kind of manga, and definitely a different take. I still like some of these ideas. But they're definitely like what was coming out of it is moving these characters into a more future type story or a world that wasn't contemporary. So some of the ideas stuck. They ended up, making it into this like final draft. So not all these ideas were thrown away, but they kind of morphed into stuff. This is like different, trying to figure out structures for Reed's face. I elongated the nose bridge and stuff like that. There's some aspects to this I like, some things I don't, but this was just me trying to figure out like just different approaches to stuff. These were some like ensemble characters, different characters that I was bringing into the storyline. So this guy's name is Clive, this kind of burly dude here. This other guy is Agent Mitchell. Mitchell he does have a little bit of life in some of the printed material, but this was, you could tell it's like still my like animation phase. So I thought like he was called, like he had a nickname, the Mole. So Mitchell the Mole. So I kind of made him look more like the animal, the rodent. So he's a little bit more mole-like here. Oh, what did I just do? Let me go here. And so then this is my page of robots. So just playing with different robot shapes, faces, different types. This was just an idea like, well, what if the robots wore clothing? And so this idea ended up making it into the final version. So I thought it would be, like in the future, maybe robots would wear clothing. I'm Mr. Sung's personal administrative assistant. You can call me Paul. So this is just me having fun with different robot types. I think I might use some of these in the future. This guy right here, I really dug. It's in pencil form. I hope you can see it. But man, it was way too complex to try to draw this multiple times, you know. So I abandoned this idea. So then a robot that kind of was more of a warrior type that had like blasters that came out of his forearms. So I like real traditional type of robots, you know, kind of like rivets and stuff like that. But I also like modern robots. So I think this was kind of my hybrid of more of like a traditional like riveted robot with more contemporary aspects. I really like shapes. So I was trying to figure out how the hip worked. So this guy has like these little wire things. I for some reason I kind of like stuff like this. I know it's not real practical and it's hard to draw, but I dig it. I kind of like this guy with the alien like looking head. So there's a lot of interesting shapes that I was coming up with. So I may revisit this because in this new black and white, you're going to see more robots. There's going to be more robots in it. So then here's another version of Whitney Sung White. So this is definitely kind of a manga approach. Yeah, I was trying to make it look sexier uh, in a way, but still keep her covered, you know. So in a lot of ways, I like it, but like the bustier kind of with the G-string, you know, look, and then kind of the more manga hairstyle. But I was definitely going more like a full helmet look with forehead and stuff like that. And so then this is just kind of character turnarounds. So believe it or not, this is Jake Chang. So the first tier, you can see the kind of cartoony, a little bit more cartoony in there. I do like these approaches though, where you just kind of play with like just kind of unique approaches like nose, forehead, stuff like that. And to be honest, I mean, there are people that, I mean, it's not just cartoony. There are people that have some of these attributes, not to this extent of this mole character though. So sometimes, you know, when I'm just drawing, I want to ink something up to see what it looks like. So I inked this 3/4 view of the character. Was given him more rounded eyes versus, you know, longer. And so then this character here, his name's Fakin, and I think he's mentioned in issue 1 of the ongoing. So he was going to be the main bad, and he still may be. So I wasn't real happy with this 3/4 view, but I liked the side view and the front view. I thought he looked kind of cool. And so there he is. He's a little what is it called? Like the Muppet characters, like the labyrinth and stuff. He kind of looks like he could exist in that world. And so then these were alternate view versions of the helmet. And so you can see like the tattoo kind of ideas are coming into play here. They still have those ideas, but they're not like tattoos. They're actually power. So when they power up, those things manifest. So they're linking with their brains. So the helmet allows black and white to talk without speaking out loud. So the helmet provides that. And so when they're linked up properly is when the markings on their face will show. So I got a 3/4, I got a side view of the helmet. I wanted her hair to show. I just kind of like drawing hair. So it was really hard to justify like a full helmet with the back open, but I wrestled with it. I still like it. The helmets now kind of have an opening in them. So I think this is kind of the same helmet design but I just, wait a minute. I don't think no, it's different. It's similar, but it's different. And so this kind of is what the version in the comic is based on. So this is what led to that. So I was also playing with maybe giving him more like lethal weapons, like a blaster, something that actually would kill. I like the idea of a knife too, like that it could, like where maybe a gun wasn't appropriate for close hand-to-hand stuff, that they would have a knife that was it was power, like a power blade, and could cut through like technology, robots, things like that. So this was, excuse me, that kind of led to the version we have now. So there's real similarities with it. I always would put question marks if I wasn't sure about something. So the shoes, I think what I wanted is like, these were a little too superhero-y. I think it needed to have something that looked more like a boot with a sole on it, which is what he has now. And then this is Reed's version. I was also playing with like maybe making him look, because at one point he was supposed to be older, like a lot older than her. So I was playing with, possibly making him look a little older and making the nose kind of like he's seen some stuff, like he was an aged veteran, kind of thing. But I thought it would be kind of weird to have like a love relationship. They kind of did the dynamic in that old BBC series called The Avengers, and but they never. There was an older guy and a younger woman, but they never really made it sexual. They were never really together. And so then this one, this was another villain that we were going to introduce in the ongoing. Her name is Juju. And so this was an alternate version of the character that was, I think she's in that issue 1 of the ongoing. So then I was like, well, what if I made her look more like what she really was, like a Valdoon priestess? And this was before like Disney did it with what was that show? It was a cartoon, the frog, the Princess and the Frog, or something like that. And I know that Byrne did a kind of skull-looking character. I think her name was Banshee in the Superman universe. But this was kind of more like war paint. Like this was kind of painted on, so it would be kind of craggly and stuff like that. And so the idea was that since it was a future type story, that she was kind of a technomancer. So she could raise the dead and things like that. But she used not only her powers, but she also used technology. so she could basically raise the dead and control them. And also the technology allowed her to control them. So this is just another, idea. So this is what could have happened, what may still happen, but in a different, with different, a different take on it, I guess, and so forth. I believe that's it. Let me check. And I wanted to leave you with this. I did a graphic for the Billy Tucci trading card. So once again, if you guys backed the black and white campaign, there are trading cards in the campaign, and so this will be one of them. So Billy Tucci was nice enough to let me use this artwork, and I think it came out fantastic. So she's twirling her batons like I do my drumsticks on the live stream. So Billy said that inspired him for her to do these for this pose. Yeah. So Mr. Tucci lending some artwork to the black and white campaign. So thanks, Billy. I think the piece came out fantastic. And if you guys back black and white, you'll get that trading card. Voodoo. I saw Voodoo. Yeah. There it is. The British Avengers, Steed and Emma Peel. Yes, exactly. Steed. Let me go back a little bit, and then I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. We got a bunch of new names in there. Welcome, everybody. If I don't read off your names, just know I do appreciate the hang. I can use the back page. Let me double check. I believe it's 68. It has an epilogue, 4-page epilogue. It says 68 pages. Somehow I figured it out. So, he's Joe's working on a campaign. Thank you. Cujo's laying right there. He's calm. He's calmed down. He's a good puppy. Indeed. I like that. It's cool. Yeah, they can, but it's all for the good. I was a little jealous because now that I'm hanging out with Billy, I've known Tucci for a while, but we're hanging out a lot more these days, and he never stopped with she, and I thought that was very brave because the market was shifting and changing, and I just didn't have that level with black and white to stay the course. And also, I mean, Image was falling apart, and I think Billy always published like self-publishing. He didn't have a publishing. He has his own publishing company, but he didn't use a publishing company. So Art, have you thought about selling stuff from your T-Bear vault again? Like the packaged books and stuff like that. I could do that. Yeah, just go through. I think we would we'd find 6 books. I would randomly put them together, and then we had it was like $30 or something like that. And I think I sold them through PayPal. And so they were 6 books that I worked on from the past. And I can do that again. Michael says corporate life is tough. They give you enough to make it hard to leave, but not enough to thrive. Then one day they execute you on the wall. That's exactly what happened to me, Michael. but I was able to provide for my family for that in that time, and I'm very thankful for that. Oh yeah, I think that would be great. A T-Bear variant, that'd be awesome. I'd do it. Yeah, it was Penny something. It had to do like it was like a play on words, like penny one or one penny, or was it one penny? It was something like that, or penny coin or something like that. Um, but that's not bad. Yeah, definitely. I'm still a big time fan of all that stuff. Yeah, Mobius, those guys are all definitely influences. That'd be fun. Yeah, I did have an idea in the day that Pamela and I were playing with, where you'd kind of have like the equivalents, like the flip side of the coin of a black and white team, and then they would basically come after the good guys. So the bad guys would come and hunt down black and white. I mean, if you think about it, Marvel has done all their cinematic universe stuff is all based on the flip side of the same coin, right? So you have the Hulk, and then you have oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the Hulk equivalents. That's bad. You know, you have Iron Man, then you have Warmonger or whatever his name is. So every one of those stories managed to have the same type villain to the hero. So even like Ant-Man, they did the Yellow Jacket as a villain, you know. So those ideas are fun to do, but they do get old fast. I blame Chris Claremont as well. You got a Brian Froud. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, it looked like a Brian Froud design. I still have his fairies book somewhere around here. It was really cool. Oh yeah, I love the stuff. The Chrono Mechanics is all based on the European guys, mainly Jean, whatever Mobius. I can never say his real name. My work is influenced by just about everybody, man. No, I think the closest thing is Brooks Gray, which is kind of like their Alfred. Um, You're just gonna have to watch it all over again. Oh, if you guys could, I'm trying to get more eyes and stuff. If you could tweet this out, I should have said this earlier. But even after it's done, I would, it would be great. Get some more eyes on it, and give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't and you like this content, please subscribe. Well, okay, they talk to technology. Well, I'll figure that out. I haven't got to that point yet. The idea was that I think it was a two prong way she rose the dead. So somehow there was an implant in the dead that she would use, so she could like stab them with this implant, and then with the technology she had in her suit and everything, and then with her voodoo powers, she could transfer that directly into the dead and then animate them. Yeah, maybe that would be a better way of explaining it. No, he's a good dog. He's a good pooch. Thank you so much, Spirits Car, for the $1.99 super chat. Art, what did you think of those Nightwish? Oh shit! I told you, dude. They freaking rock. This stuff's badass. Yeah, drummer's really good. I guess there's two different drummers, but yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, if you guys ever want to turn me on to new music, I'm all about that. Yeah, it was kind of based on Moneypenny type of idea. It was like penny coin or 1 penny, but it's spelt the one wasn't spelt like the number one. I forget what it was, but good stuff. Penny pincher. That's perfect. The Abomination, yeah, the Hulk villain. Let me see. We're almost caught up. Magnus Robot Fighter. Puppy, did you check out the Sabaton? Yeah, I actually have some of their discs. I think I have three of them. No. Leave him alone. He's a good puppy. Oh, cool. Well, anytime. So XD is one. I'll type that in. Yeah. So XD. I'm writing this down because I forget. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks, you guys. This was a fun little side journey today, and thank you so much for the super chats. You guys are the best. Not only just with with all the interaction and stuff, but also just going that extra step with the super chats. I do appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's like calling V, like call her Toyota Celica or something. Yeah. Witch Sorrow. Oh, Witch Sorrow is a band. I thought it was maybe an alternate name. Witch. It's a killer name. There were two band names, even like in the day when I was still playing in bands. I always pitched. So when I would play with like an edgier, like metal type band, Witch or Ghost. And I was always surprised that there wasn't a band that was just called Witch or Ghost. And so now there is a band called Ghost. And apparently there is a band called Witch Sorrow. Nice stream. Thank you. Thanks, Jason. You guys are the best. So I'm going to let you go. I'm getting a little hungry here. I'm going to get some food, hang out with my wife a little bit, and then come back to work. Oh, I wanted to tease you guys with this. I know that I have mentioned the Green Hornet. So I pitched a Green Hornet story to DC Comics, and they wanted to do it. They greenlit it. I can explain the details why it didn't happen. But one of the things is when I was going through archives, I found some of the pitch stuff that I did for DC. So this is the Green Hornet. And so this is the line art. There's Kato. And there's a few other drawings. And I did a show where I talked about this Batman story that I had. And you guys really seem to like those. So what I'm going to do is I'll use this artwork. I'll scan it in so you can see it better. And yeah, mullet, Green Hornet. And so what I'll do is I'll give you the pitch. I'll if I can remember all the details. And I'll give you the story. It'll be story time, the Green Hornet story time. And I'll tell that story. There's a few other, like Pamela's like, did you ever tell the Nightwing story that we wrote up and that DC was gonna do? And I said, I don't think I really got into details on it. So we can do that as well for a future live stream. Yeah, you can tell the time. Actually, what it says, there's a date on it. It says 88. So this was 1988 that I did this artwork and pitched this thing. So yeah, it's a little old. It is a little old. So mullets were cool then. All right. Okay, so I got to leave. You guys take care. Have fun. Be good to each other, and I'll see you soon.